Welcome back! Today we're going to do it. We are going to make a Japanese Pokemon video right here on Nostalgianomics, and it's going to be an end-all be-all draw a line in the sand video. After this, I'm not going to respond to any more of the comments and the live stream chats and the trolling I get on Discord about the whole Japanese English side of things. I'm going to talk some facts, we're going to talk some history, we're going to talk some opinions, and you guys can all tear me apart in the comments, and we can leave it all right here on this video, and going forward, you can like it or love it, you can love me or hate me, but this is where we are, alright? So, first off, let's get started. I'm going to give you one end-all be-all opinion of mine, and one end-all be-all fact, and then we'll go from there. First off, the end-all be-all opinion that I'm always going to hold. I hope everyone out there continues to do well, make money, make plays, and see appreciation on your collectibles no matter what you're in. I want everyone to win. I don't care if it's Pokemon or Japanese Pokemon or One Piece or Dragon Ball or Star Wars or sports cards or other collectibles. Don't care. I hope everyone continues to do well, okay? The end-all be-all fact, which again, it can't be disputed. You can go look it up for yourself. English Pokemon is just more popular. It is what it is. English Pokemon is printed more. English Pokemon sells more. They sell more boxes. The cards sell more often. You can go on eBay. You can look at all the sales data. It's public information. Worldwide, English Pokemon is more collected than Japanese Pokemon. It doesn't matter that the hobby started in Japan. English became more popular. It is what it is. Again, you can't fight it. They're just numbers. Now, going forward from here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of how Japanese product has been. We'll talk about where I see it going from here, what's going on right now with it, and yeah, we're going to kind of leave this video where it is. So, history of Japanese product. You could always cherry pick a box here or there, possibly. I didn't look at all of them. But, on average, before the last couple years of this big Japanese bubble, I call it a bubble, you can call it a boom, it's really similar to the whole vintage boom we saw in 2020. But before these last couple years, English mainline booster boxes at retail price, not MSRP, not $140 or $160, at retail price, $90, $100 a box, have outperformed Japanese mainline booster boxes. Just is what it is. Now, on the Japanese side of things, Japanese specialty sets have usually outperformed English specialty sets. Now, one of the reasons this is because English specialty sets, they don't have booster boxes. They have ETBs. And so the Japanese specialty sets, since they have booster boxes, they actually usually outperform the English specialty sets, which have ETBs. And so, you could definitely say that's a leg up for the Japanese side. If you're going to be moving into investing, I would always suggest specialty sets. But I still stick with English with the mainline booster boxes. 2, because, again, English is more popular, and again, the last couple of years, it's been an anomaly. We've been in a crazy bubble. But now you're starting to see things come back to normal, and even before that, English is a lot more liquid, meaning it's easier to get out of. It's easier to sell. There are more buyers because, again, more people worldwide collect English. And so in the future, it's most likely going to be easier to get out of your English product when the time does come to sell, which is a huge benefit. A lot of people are experiencing that right now with their Japanese product, is they're trying to sell it. It's taking a long time, not as many buyers anymore, because what happened is when that kind of bubble burst and everything's on the way down, all those people wanting that free money and those free plays and those easy plays, they're gone, right? They took their money, they took the attention, they went elsewhere, right? They went to One Piece to pump that. They went to Star Wars to pump that. They're in sorcery pumping that. They're pumpers, right? They all congregate to where, probably some are in the alt arts right now. They all congregate to where the money is being made, and they all put their money to work there. And because the Japanese side of things is out of favor, all that money's gone. So what happened is, it's left with a ton of supply and nowhere near the demand to eat up that supply. The same way things happen with vintage. Now, vintage had a lot better time because it wasn't getting more supply dumped in the market the way Japanese is. But here's the thing, guys. Don't get wrapped up in this mentality that, well, Alex, it dropped 50, 70%. It's got to be a good buy now. The card was $1,000 and now it's $300. I got to get in. Guys, a base set PSA 9 Charizard sold for $7,000. And now it's back to just over $1,000, and it's been 4 years. 4 years, it stayed stagnant with no growth. And guess what? There is a very real world where we will die before we ever see that card being $7,000 again. Things do not always need to recover the way you think. Some things will, some things won't. So don't buy into this lie that people say like, oh, you buy low, you sell high. Just because things went through an incredible boom and then going through an incredible bust, a bubble popping, that you think, well, everything that dropped is going to come back. No, doesn't mean it is. It might stay stagnant for a long time, might see very little rise in the years to come. It doesn't mean it's a good play. Now, on the flip side of that, there are a lot of Japanese boxes right now that are really beat up. You know me, I really believe in sealed product. And because of that, those could be good entries. Remember what I said? I'd rather have an English booster box at retail than a Japanese box at retail. That all changes when the Japanese boxes pass the MSRP or retail they normally sell for. And they go down into the 30s, high 20s at this point. Then the numbers get all skewed. Then it actually makes more sense to pick those up at the current price points because you have a better chance of percentage gains. Now, like I said, a lot of demand has left that hobby. There's a huge glut of supply right now. It may take a long period of time, right? You may be sitting in that product for longer than normal, and you need to have the right time horizons. But I do think there are good plays in a lot of those Japanese boxes right now because of the price points they're hitting. Fair? Getting into the PSA cards. Usually people newer to the hobby, they don't understand the history. Guys, if you go back and look at a first edition base set Charizard, it absolutely crushes the Japanese no symbol Charizard, which is considered like the first print of the Japanese, side. Actually, it was printed before the first edition base set Charizard. And then going on, English PSA 10 cards have always outperformed Japanese PSA 10 cards when it's a 1-for-1 comparison. When it's not a Japanese exclusive promo, or it's not some kind of English card that was printed in like a collection box or UPC or outside of the set, but it was actually printed in the set in Japanese as a chase card. Other than those 6 circumstances, when it's a 1-for-1 comparison, they were both set cards at the same rarities, the same chase, English set cards have performed better than Japanese cards all throughout history of Pokemon until, like I said, the last couple years when it went through that crazy boom. So don't think when you see things like an English card selling for 500 in a PSA 10 and a Japanese card selling for 80 that something's off. Oh my gosh, Alex, this is a screaming buy. Either that or the English is way overvalued. No. It's the fact that the reason a lot of people like Japanese is because the print quality is better, right? Everyone loves the good print quality. The downside of that is there's no chase for PSA 10s. It's more rare to get a PSA 9 in Japanese than it is a PSA 10 because the print quality is so good. So for that fact, that's why English cards can hold such a premium in PSA 10s, because some of these cards have like a 20% 10 ratio where it's extremely hard to get that 10. So that's why it has the value, because it has that conditional rarity. It has that chase attached to it where it's really hard to find a minty copy out of a pack, unlike Japanese where every card you pull is a minty copy. So that's why there is a disparity there between the Japanese 10s and the English 10s. There's nothing wrong with the markets. Japanese is undervalued, English is overvalued. They're both properly valued. It's just one is valued for the chase over not having a chase. Fair? Okay. Going back again, before these last couple of years, guys, this has kind of always been the standard thing. Japanese cards have been less expensive, less liquid, less popular than English cards, right? Japanese boxes, they've been far less bought. Japanese boxes have always been, a minuscule amount of what English boxes sell, right? English boxes have always been more liquid, and most of the time they've always outperformed Japanese boxes, okay? Anyone who got in the hobby in the last 1, 2, maybe even 3, maybe not quite 3 years, last couple years for sure, it's hard, right? Because you're looking at me, and then you're looking at what the market's been doing, and you're thinking, this guy's an idiot. If you've been in the hobby for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's why making this video is a little harder. It's things are returning to normal. Things are returning back to normal in Japanese the way that vintage market returned to normal back in 2021, 2022, right? This is going to be the normal flow of things, guys. I wouldn't expect this slingshot pattern where everything bounces back right away in the Japanese stuff. It's going to take some time. Are there plays there? Sure. But not everything's a play, and not everything's going to be overnight. Is 151 going to be a screaming play at the right price point? Of course. But just because that's a play doesn't mean every other Scarlet Violet box, at its current price is a good play compared to English. That's all I'm saying. Now, getting into, all the trolling I get. Alex, why don't you ever talk about Japanese on your channel? Why don't you promote it like you do English? You're trying to keep us down. You're trying to keep the Japanese market down. Nothing to do with any of that, guys. All right, I'm going to paint it very clearly for you. Japanese, to me, is the same as looking at sorcery, looking at One Piece, looking at Star Wars, looking at Dragon Ball Fusion, looking at sports cards. There are plays everywhere. Why would I speak on something that I don't have 9 years of experience and success in? One, something I do not personally enjoy. Guys, I don't enjoy Japanese cards. I know, I'm sorry, it comes to a shock from a lot of you. I've had friends have me open up the product at live collecticons. I've opened the packs, I've held the cards in my hand, I've seen them side by side with other cards, in the slabs, out of the slabs, everything. I have no connection to them. I have no enjoyment out of it. I don't like the art more, I don't like the card more. It just is what it is. I like the English side more. And so, obviously because of that, I'm not going to be putting tons of work and effort in to following that market if I don't even like it, because there's plays everywhere. I mean, I could show you Star Wars plays that I could have made more money on than Japanese product, right? I like Star Wars more. I could show you Dragon Ball Fusion plays. I could show you, One Piece plays. Like, there's plays everywhere, right? So you're always going to miss plays. What I do is I try to focus on markets that I know, that I feel confident in, that I understand the movements in, and I try to make the best plays in those. That in no way subtracts from the plays that you're making in the hobbies or sides of the market that you love, right? You may be making plays in vintage, great. You make plays in Japanese, great. You make plays in other card games, I'm happy for you. It's just not what I personally focus on this channel. There's a lot of great Japanese content creators out there. Not like they're Japanese, but they make Japanese content out there. Probably Japanese people that make Japanese content too, if you can speak it or whatever. But there's a lot of that out there. I'm just not the guy for you is the issue. And so it doesn't upset me that people are doing well. It's just not my cup of tea, right? And here's the other thing. I'm not a billionaire. I don't even have enough money to make all the plays and investments at the levels I want in English. I don't even have enough money to go around for English Pokemon, right? Then I want to get into One Piece and Yu-Gi-Oh! and all this other stuff. It's like, I don't even have enough to invest and make plays in the English stuff that I have. Like, if I ever have just enough money, it's in such abundance that I have every single play that I want here, and I have the position sizes I want, then yeah, maybe I'll start throwing it somewhere else. But until it gets to that point, I have no reason to go anywhere else because all the plays I need are right here. They're right here in front of me, right? And so, I mean, that has to make sense to a lot of people out there. I hope it does at least. But, the last thing it really comes down to is I just think you should stick to what you know when it comes to investing. I mean, I think the biggest rule in investing is don't invest in things you don't understand. And I just don't want to take the time, I guess, to understand the Japanese market as deep as I do the English market. English market's really easy, right? So in Japanese, there's people out there that they claim they have the best deal, and maybe they do. There's someone out there with the best deal, but everyone's got different deals, right? Oh, the store in Japan gets it for this much, or there's a bigger store in Japan, they get it for this much, and they can get it overseas and shipped and landed for this, and that store got it for this, and my entry price is this, my entry price is that. I found it for this. And there's all these different prices and all these different entry points. You never know if you're on a level playing field. I don't like that. English, you're on a level playing field. Other than maybe like a P Football Pete or Anderson Authentics, one of these big sellers on eBay who may have special deals or distribution in like the mid or low 80s per booster box. You know that 99% of the LGS stores are paying between $88 and $95 per booster box from distribution. Meaning, if you can beat $88 a booster box, you are beating 99% of the stores that are getting it. Meaning, you are on a level playing field to every other investor out there, right? Same thing with the PCETBs. They're not sent out to anybody. So you buy a PCETB on Pokemon Center at retail, you're on a level playing field to everyone else out there. You're starting at the ground level. It's not like Wall Street where there's all these insider deals, insider stock trading. It's not the Japanese market where there's all these different deals being had. They got it landed for this store bought this many, they got it for that. You don't have to worry about all that. It's very easy to see and predict these English prices in English markets and know you're paying the same price as everyone else is paying. And I enjoy that, right? And I've been in this market 9 years, so I understand the ebbs and flows. I understand all of the different the different cycles that these markets go through, and it's very easy to predict. The plays are very easy for me to make, and so for me it just makes a lot more sense to stick to what I know than try to jump into something I don't know and look like a bozo talking about it because I haven't dug deep enough. I know historical prices. I know what history has shown us. I know in the last couple of years that history's got foggy because all kind of crazy stuff's been happening. But in my personal opinion, I think we're going to get back to normal. I think English mainline booster boxes are going to be the way to go. I think if you want to go to Japanese, I would stick to the specialty sets. And there's always going to be good Japanese exclusive promos and Japanese set cards that aren't released in English sets and things like that. Maybe even Japanese exclusive sets, exclusive items and products and things like that. All good things. But other than that, that's where we're at, guys. So for better or worse, there's your Japanese video. If I continue to get comments and trolling in Discords and live chats, I'm probably just going to link you to this video. I'm going to say, hey, go watch this video. This gives you all my takes. I'm just not really going to be discussing it anymore. Maybe I'll even find some Japanese content channels to link in this video too, to really help you out, find what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for it, I'm just not it, guys. So just trying to be transparent. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope everyone continues to be successful in any hobby they're in, with any play or investment they're making. I truly want us all to win. So that's all I got. See you guys back here in the video soon. I'm out.